This is the story of a powerful king, a loyal soldier, and one decision that changed everything.
It was spring, the time of year when kings were meant to be leading their armies to battle.
But while David's army went to war, the king himself stayed behind in Jerusalem.
One late afternoon, restless, the king took a walk out on his palace roof.
And from that high vantage point, his eyes fell upon a woman bathing nearby. He asked who she was. He soon learned her name was Bathsheba, wife of one of his own elite soldiers.
And so King David sent his messengers, and they brought her to him at the palace.
Then, sometime later, a message arrived for the king, one that would complicate his secret.
To cover it all up, David immediately called her husband Uriah home from the front lines.
But Uriah, loyal to a fault, refused to go home to his wife. Not once, but twice.
How could he rest, he said, when his men were still camped out in the open field?
Frustrated by Uriah's honor, David's plan took a much darker turn. He wrote a letter to his general and then gave it to Uriah himself to deliver.
That letter, carried by an unknowing Uriah, was his own death sentence.
And just as the king commanded, during a fierce assault, Uriah was killed in battle.
After her mourning, David took Bathsheba as his wife, but the Lord sent the prophet Nathan.
Nathan told the king a story, a parable about a rich man who stole a poor man's one beloved lamb.
David flew into a rage, completely unaware the story was about him. He declared the man should die. Then Nathan looked the king in the eye and revealed the parable's true subject.
The prophet laid it all bare, accusing David of murdering Uriah just to take his wife. And with that, Nathan delivered God's judgment, a terrible three-part curse on David's family.
Caught, with nowhere left to hide, the king finally confessed his terrible sin.
And just as the prophet foretold, the child born to them became sick and soon died.
And in the years that followed, the rest of the prophecy also came to pass.
A king's private sin had cast a long and tragic shadow over his family and his entire nation.